I'm going to go to Dr. Group on Ebola. I'm ranting, but Dr. Group, before we get into Ebola and the shocking news on that front today, talking about the awakening. I mean, I've had dinner with you, hung out with you and your wife last week when you were here in town. You're a really smart guy. You were in Army Special Operations, did a lot of interesting things. You've seen behind the curtain. What do you call this awakening, and am I overestimating it or underestimating it?
No, I think that, you know, like yourself, I mean, I'm really involved at looking at more or less the eugenics part of it, how everything ties together with the healthcare. Hey, I was, like you said, you were a Republican. I was all into pharmaceuticals and wanted to be a medical doctor until I started finding out the truth and started digging deeper and digging deeper. And now I'm looking at it as, what's going on and how this is affecting the masses all over the world. And I think that we're at a tipping point. I mean, we're at the maximum. Well, I wouldn't say maximum, but like you said, I mean, even
we're approaching the maximum. We're approaching event horizon.
Houston, I'm starting to see Homeland Security cars driving around. We have a whole building being built downtown for Homeland Security. So you see Homeland Security working with the local police departments. But at the same time, I have Houston Police Department officers that come by here that tell me that they see what's going on inside. They are waking up. So it's a 50-50 thing. You have the positive and the negative. Sometimes you have more negative, and then all of a sudden you'll have more positive. So it's really, I would say, the strongest fight right now in healthcare, in politics, I mean, all the way around, which is happening, and people are waking up. I'd like to think people would wake up a little bit faster, but the main thing that I've been focusing on is teaching people how to wake up by getting healthier and supporting their body's natural immune system and supporting their self-healing mechanism, because really that's what it all comes down to. I mean, if you look at every single aspect that the globalists have used through poisoning the air and the food and the water, I mean, it's all designed really to dumb you down, to make you mentally retarded, to, lower your IQ levels, to affect your body so you're sick, to instill fear into your system, which drops your immune system by 50%. So getting the word out to people about how they can keep their immune system strong, how they can keep their bodies clean, how they can avoid all that, how they, just knowing the information, how they can protect themselves against fear. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things out here, with this Ebola.
The way I do it is I take action against something, and then that calms me down and makes me feel good.
Well, exactly. I'm not scared of anything because I've taken action, and many of your listeners have taken action too. They know what to do. I mean, if you know what to do with an Ebola outbreak, if you know what to do with a pandemic, you've prepared for all that. You've got food storage. You've got a place to go. You've stocked up on, silver. You've stocked up on iodine. You've stocked up on the things that are going to protect your cells, DNA force, all that stuff that's there to protect you and to boost your own immune system and to keep your body strong, and you have a plan, then there's nothing to fear. I mean, if you understand how the globalists and how all those individuals operate, and you just look at why are they breaking all the rules here? Why is Obama signing executive order to, that can force
That's it. They're moving on all fronts now. They don't care anymore. I've never seen so much corruption. What does that signify to you as an indicator?
Just the fact of how they've handled this Ebola situation. If you look at the supposedly pandemics in the past with swine flu, H1N1, I would say this is by far the worst scenario that we've been in, just because the way the government and the World Health Organization is handling the situation, bringing people into uninfected countries. I mean, this is like insane. You quarantined an area with a potential pandemic. You never fly people into the United States and fly people into other countries. And, now with what you're saying with the funeral homes and everything, I would say with the connections to the vaccinations, with them being able to forcibly vaccinate, that's a whole nother thing. Get out of a densely crowded, populated city as fast as you can. But more importantly is just make sure that you have what you need for you and your family.
I was about to say, I'm just going to stay away from crowds if it actually gets in the population. I mean, clearly, I don't think it's going to get that bad over here. I hope it doesn't show up over here. It may already have. They're reporting on CBS News. But it's going to be the fear the government puts out in the vaccine they roll out, like the polio vaccine that they admit gave people polio, like my grandmother. Here's CBS News for folks that just joined us. North Texas Hospital evaluating patient for potential Ebola exposure. Ebola alert, U.S. patient 0 suspected in Dallas. Travel history and symptoms suggest infection. Plans for mass graves confirmed, Infowars.com. Dallas Hospital, possible Ebola patient. 9 News, Ebola. And then I've got my other report here by Paul Joseph Watson up on Infowars.com, the one that we were just mentioning. CDC warns funeral homes in the U.S. to prepare for Ebola victims. They've never done this before. Why would they bring Ebola patients in, Dr. Group? Why would they do that? And then start saying, get ready for it. I mean, it looks premeditated.
There's, you know, everything that's been happening in the last 5 years has pretty much been right in our face, you know, and they're getting to the point now where they don't even care. You know, it used to be kind of secretive, but now they're doing it right in front of you, and they're reporting it on the news. You know, we're bringing Ebola patients right into the U.S., and you know, they're just testing the reactions and the reactions of the general population and seeing what they're going to do. And they just keep pushing it further and further and further to the limit. And nobody's doing anything about it except us. You know, there are a select group of people that are calling us, finding, hey, listen, how is this happening? What can we do to protect ourselves? But it's the more that they push, also, the more that they can create fear. And then you have that 80–90% of the population out there that says, government, we depend on you. What are you going to do for us? And they start calling and pushing the CDC and the World Health Organization into vaccines. And, you know, they'll line up at every single drugstore all day long. If a vaccine came out tomorrow, an Ebola vaccine, and it was distributed through every drugstore in the United States, the scary thing is 80–90% of the population would run down there with their kids and everything and take an untested vaccination. And not only that, you know, you have stuff that's going on in the United States right now, these weird respiratory illnesses that are affecting the children all over the place, the adults. The amendment Obama signed that they can physically detain anyone
for any respiratory
illness.
Yeah, he did that a couple months ago, and then magically this starts, and then they admit it's linked to the vaccines. We had Dr. Blaylock, brain surgeon, medical doctor, on yesterday. He was saying it's called, you know, mutations from the vaccines causing other viruses in the gut to then mutate. I mean, and that they all know this, so it's clearly on purpose. Incredible. I want to shift gears briefly. A couple months ago, I guess 12 weeks ago, we came out with DNA Force, the most powerful formula ever, literally on record doing amazing things inside the body. And I've been taking it even before it came out. Everybody in my family that's taken it has been blown away. It's the flagship of InfoWarsLife.com products. Spend a couple minutes telling people what's in DNA Force that you helped us develop with my dad. Break down what this formula does, and when people purchase it, it also supports the transmission.
Yeah, this is actually an amazing formula, and you know, just the response from the people that got the DNA Force from InfoWars. I've had people contact me. It's amazing, and the reason why we developed it is because there's such an attack on the cells. I mean, if you look at the body, what causes aging? What decreases cellular function? What harms the cells? And those are all free radicals. It's free radical damage from, you know, all of the chemicals that you're ingesting in the food and the beverage and everything else. And if you're sick, the immune system has to work extra hard. Stress, I mean, stress is causing an immune deficiency in the majority of people over 35 right now, lack of sleep. So, you know, looking back, it's all about looking at the root cause of what's going on in the body. And if the cells are being attacked, our main mission was to be the first company in the world working with your dad to develop a product. Because, again, you know, we're really big on cleansing and cleansing and cleansing, and that's great for the cells. But a lot of people out there want the extra ability to protect their cells from free radical damage and to, you know, slow down the aging process. I mean, the anti-aging market out there is an incredible market.
And for folks that don't know, this is a whole bunch of patented, certified, organic compounds we'll talk about when we come back from break and hit some other Ebola news. that we're even able to actually say what it does. You don't see that with other supplements because they're not this nutraceutical level of just absolutely certified ingredients. You know, Dr. Group's saying get sunshine, drink purified water, get the right minerals and nutrients to protect your body so you get your immune system up. No. Ezekiel Emanuel, who helped write Obamacare, has said it's meant to bankrupt the country. Death panels are real. We should get rid of old people. So I thought we should actually have him on the show here. So there's fairness doctrine. And so here he is. If you're watching us on TV at Infowars.com, Infowars.com/show, you can see it. And here he is. He has something to say to all the viewers and listeners out there. Ezekiel Emanuel, Obamacare spokesman, Obamacare head. Go ahead, sir. Ezekiel Emanuel, let's pull out so folks can see him. He kind of... Obamacare. They love us bringing Ebola patients in. Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, why he lovingly, ladies, he looks like the Grim Reaper, but I guess actually up is down, down is up, black is white now. So that's the good guy. George Washington's bad. Christians are bad. Christ is bad. The Grim Reaper, Ezekiel Emanuel, angel of death, is good. Angel of death flying free. Stopping the sarcasm, Ron Paul's coming up. We have this segment, one little short one left with Dr. Grube. Getting serious here, it's really becoming obvious what they're up to, what they're doing, and they're really moving in, trying to stop folks from getting high-quality supplements like X2 and the DNA Force and the OcuPower. Everybody can see what it's done for me. They've seen and heard the testimonials. Here are a couple of them that have come in right here. Tell folks about some of the testimonials you've been seeing yourself on DNA Force, X2, you name it, Dr. Group.
I mean, out of thousands of people that have used it, online, there's 4 or 5 stars. I mean, mostly like 4.5 stars. We hardly ever get anybody that sends a product back. I mean, but that's what we're about. I mean, we don't create products that are second best. I mean, our products are guaranteed to be the best in the world. I mean, if you can find a better product out there, we'll buy it for you, and we've never even had that.
Well, Obamacare's a better product, doubles or triples prices, gets rid of your doctor, and creates euthanasia squads and death lists for veterans. I mean, what's wrong with that?
That's a pretty bad, it's a disaster, actually. I mean, Obamacare is doing nothing but addressing the root cause. And listen, the medical profession has never focused on the root cause. They do not want you to know what causes disease. They don't want you to know how to fix disease. I mean, all they want you to do is get on their medications and eventually die. I mean, that's why people need to look away from. Now, don't get me wrong. If you get in a car accident, you have broken bones, emergency situations, we have the best medical system in the world. But as far as
managing, Dr. Group, no, Obamacare, love you.
Yeah, I don't know about Obamacare now. We'll see how that works out because, pretty soon I'm sure somebody will get in a car accident and they'll be bleeding to death, and then they'll wait 5 hours to approve the Obamacare insurance plan.
No, that's what they do.
They'll bleed out. So I can't say that anymore. But I mean, our doctors are at least trained to save your life. Now, I don't know.
Well, sure, the doctors are against Obamacare, almost all of them. Look, people need to get DNA Force because literally one ingredient cost us upwards of $40 a bottle just for the one ingredient, and there's a whole bunch of ingredients in there. But the Bio-PQQ, a whole bunch of other ingredients, InfoWarsLife.com, go read about them. That's why it's $130 a bottle or $129 a bottle. Leading competitors that aren't even as strong, folks, are $300 to $600 or even more. This is a true nutraceutical in every sense of the word at an incredibly low price, and it helps us fund our operation here. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And, of course, you can also get our colloidal silver. It's $19.95 and some of the best out there. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Or there's Obamacare, which loves you. It's for the children. You can always have that. CJ made the joke. I don't want to steal his joke that, politicians talk out of their rear ends. And I got this little Grim Reaper that we're calling Ezekiel Emanuel. You couldn't really hear him earlier because I was putting his face up to the microphone. You actually have to put his Obama up to the microphone to hear it. So here we go. But if you're against Obamacare, you're racist. We'll get your guns. It's so much fun. Oh, so loving. Oh, so good. Obamacare. Okay, Ron Paul's coming up. Finishing up Dr. Group of the Global Healing Center that helped develop DNA Force, OcuPower, you name it. Not only are you getting the best supplements out there from our research folks, you're helping fund the tip of the spear in the InfoWars. I want to thank all of you, whether it's the Silver Bullet, or whether it's the Nascent Iodine X2, whether it's the Super Male Vitality, all of it is super high quality and funds the operation. But spend a few more minutes talking about DNA Force itself and some of the other compounds that are in it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, DNA Force is incredible because we took the best compounds that would help kind of preserve you. I mean, some of these compounds extended the life of mice in testing by 30%. So, I mean, you know, what would you give to do that? I mean, I've been taking it for 3 or 4 months now, and people that I haven't seen in a while say I look, you know, a few years younger. But what it's designed to do is to help your skin glow, to look younger, to feel younger. It's great for the heart. There's ingredients in there like Pure, which contains a concentrate from blueberries. There's CoQ10 in there. Which
explain how many blueberries you'd have to eat to get what's in one serving of this.
You would have to eat 500 little bitty pallets of blueberries. You know, those little bitty cases of blueberries that you get.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, this formula is excellent because most of your mitochondria are going to be in your heart cells, your brain cells, your skin cells. So it really works on the heart. Each ingredient alone, I recommend people go to look at because we chose the best of the best. So it's really an overall graceful.
Exactly. Just try it. Just try it, folks, because you're going to discover. Just try the X2. Try the Survival Shield. Try the Super Male Vitality, but really try the DNA Force because you've heard the rave reviews, you've heard the calls. This stuff really is revolutionary.
We've had a lot of people that have had great success with just stress and mental clarity as well with this formula. I mean, some of the ingredients there have been proven in clinical studies to increase mental clarity, especially during times of stress. So it's an all-in-one formula, really, that just helps protect every single thing in your body. It also helps the mitochondria and the telomeres in there from damage, and that's really what causes the aging process.
And again, the Bio-PQQ, talk about some of the other patented compounds that are in here briefly.
Okay, well, we have R-lipoic acid, and that's known to support cardiovascular health. It encourages normal blood pressure. It's hot. The antioxidant capacity of that is great. We have a
special type of CoQ10.
We have the CoQ10, which is the made in the USA pure form. It's one of the only ones in the world made in the USA. And that CoQ10 is an enzyme necessary for proper cardiovascular function.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-31.